Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? I said good morning, everybody. How y'all doing today? Hey, so good morning, Miss Audrey. So welcome everybody to Founders Blend June. I am Angel Garcia. I'm with BAM Entrepreneurial Center, and I am going to try to fill Miss Sammy Steele's shoes. Now, you know, she is a consummate professional. This is what she does. So I'm going to try my best. So y'all help me out here, right?
Got it.
Okay, so we Founders Blend. Man, this is a great thing for the city of Midland. It's great networking. All you guys out here are coming out to support local businesses, and that's what we're about. We're about local businesses, small businesses, entrepreneurial development. So, you know what? Everybody, let's get the energy up. Round of applause for entrepreneurs in Midland, Texas. Come on. So, I got to go by script so I don't forget what I'm saying, because I can just start talking and I will go on forever. So, okay, I already did welcome to Founders Blend. So everybody has their coffee? Everybody got their coffee? Okay. So get ready. So we get nice and caffeinated, and hit the QR code on the screen. Make sure you get, there it is. Make sure you get signed in, let everybody know you're here. That way we can reach out to you when we do some other special things. So what is Founders Blend? Founders Blend is a unique community of startup founders, business owners, investors, and those interested in supporting local businesses who come together over free cups of coffee to celebrate new companies and support each other with the wisdom gained through similar experiences. So a little bit about how this morning will go, right? So 2 awesome businesses we're going to hear from today here in Midland. And so as they talk and as they're going through their presentation, think about some good questions that you can ask them, right? Something that you can glean and pick their brain to bring something else out that isn't being discussed. Read between the lines and get some good questions, and let's start some dialogue. Let's get some discussion going, and let's make this fun. And so I got to introduce our community partners here. So Midland Development Corporation, thank you guys for spearheading this and putting this together. It's amazing. Of course, Second Story. You know, you guys rock. You guys are awesome. And then there's BAM Consulting, aka the BAM Entrepreneurial Center. And then there is UT Permian Basin, Midland Chamber of Commerce, Film Hunter Media, and of course, where we are at today, Midland College. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for hosting. Give it to Midland College. And our sponsors, Community National Bank, C&B. So great bank, one of the only privately owned here in the local community still, so that's a good deal. Midland College provided your coffee and your breakfast this morning, so thank them for that. And you know, make sure to, it's free. This is a free event for the community and for y'all to come together. So if you're interested in partnering with us, find a community partner or scan the QR code and post it. Okay, now. So now for the business introductions. We're gonna have two businesses here, Venture Robotics and SouthSide Barbershop. All right, first up is Venture Robotics. Now, very interesting company here. And I have to say, after meeting with both these businesses, both of them have a purpose. Both of them have a community-focused heart and center, you know, who wants to bring community together, wants to develop our future generations, and when you can merge purpose with finding what you're good at, with being able to monetize it, that's a beautiful thing. And I think that's what we should all look for when putting together our businesses. So, Venture Robotics is owned by Ginger and Dan Shanks. Ginger has a desire to see connections and learning and also enjoys fostering business engagement in the community. Ginger has a natural love to see students and young people grasp new concepts and get excited through STEM and STEAM activities. Ginger's involvement and leadership at Venture Robotics has brought opportunities such as becoming a finalist of a grant in 2022 from the Texas Governor's Council for Women in Business and completion of the SBA Thrive program. Ginger has her undergrad in journalism from Texas Tech and a master's in government from New Mexico State University. And Dan was born and raised in Midland and has had a long enduring passion for robotics. Dan graduated with an industrial technology degree from Sul Ross and is finishing up his master's from Texas Tech University. Dan has worked for several Midland companies, including Dawson Geophysical, Crown Quest, and Pioneer. Dan completed robotics during his time at Midland High School in 1998. I'm not trying to date him or nothing. Which led him to his desire to share his love of robotics with young people. He strives to encourage them to open their minds to all that robotics has to offer. Everybody please welcome Venture Robotics, Ginger, and Dan. Oh yeah, and then here's your clicker.
All right, awesome. You think being a teacher by trade that this would be easy, but it's always when you're sharing something that you have nurtured and grown. It's always it can be emotional, it can be nerve-wracking, whatever. But I'm happy to be here today. We decided that I'm going to just do the main spiel, and then Dan will join in for questions just to make it a little easier in giving you the information. But yeah, Venture Robotics just gives you kind of a little glimpse of some of the activities that we do and participate in. We actually started out with 5 robots, I think 5 robot sets that we got in an auction. This was during the pandemic. You know, a lot of businesses started out during that pandemic time, and Dan was taking a break from the oil industry and decided to take that severance, and he had a choice, and he decided to take the severance, and we knew he was going to go back and continue his education. We didn't know exactly which direction yet, but we thought, hey, let's just get these robots, and I'm all about side hustles, and and I thought maybe we can just do something in the summer, you know, and see what happens. So we got them, and we met in a school gym and ran a couple of camps. The kids responded well, parents responded well, and we got more questions of, hey, when are you going to do more teaching? What are you going to do to teach next? And just more and more and more questions. We're like, this is wild. We need to do something with answering these questions. And so we began slowly just doing a little bit more and a little bit more. And eventually we began to have an actual facility. And we've had 2 different locations. Our first one was a great space, but not the best location. It wasn't as accessible. It was difficult to park, and maybe not the most family-friendly surroundings. And so we got into a new location where we're at now by the mall. How is that not family-friendly, right? So we're over in a shopping center just kind of across from the mall off the loop. Easy, accessible, and has really made a difference in our ability to connect with customers and get those customers in the door. So now we have just kind of grown throughout these years. We've been really blessed to get a lot of media coverage because we're doing something so innovative and different and kind of new. We're not a franchise. You know, we are absolutely started this from our own brains and just the gift that God gave us. And let's see, there we go. All right, so our customers, it's a unique spread. Sometimes it's a little concerning because it might be too widespread. But we do cater to young people, and we also cater a lot to their parents because we're trying to meet the desires and wants of the kids, but also parents. So we have to be cool and hip and interesting and fun, but we also have to have a purpose, and we have to have a need we have to be nurturing and loving to the kids so that the parents want to keep coming back and bringing their kids there. And we want kids to feel valued and to have a sense of purpose. That's why we're there. But we also provide classes for adult learners, for homeschool sessions, and then we also can fill some needs that maybe some nonprofits have, or even right now we're doing a STEM camp for one of the local oil businesses this month. So this is our busiest month of the year. We are super tired and super busy, but that's good, right? So our growth, our 2 areas of really consistent and just amazing, astounding growth has been in our Afternoon Innovators program, which is after school. A lot of students do get some exposure to robotics in public schools, but a lot don't. Probably, well, honestly, more don't than do. And so we've been a real answer to, honestly, some parents' prayers because their kids did not get into that program at whatever school they're at, or the teacher left. We're seeing that more and more. We hear stories, crises of the teacher left. We were supposed to have this program and the teacher left. What can we do to help fill that gap? And we can help sometimes, but not all the time. So we love any opportunity that we get to help train teachers so that they feel more confident in what they're doing. And a lot of it is just play. But we do see a lot of afternoon growth after school times. And then we've seen some growth in our homeschool sessions as well, so that's exciting. Dan was homeschooled for a little bit in those junior high, middle school years, so he has a real heart for those kids need opportunities just as well, just as much. And so we want to provide that for them. We do a lot of things. We are, as much a technology company, we are a creative space. So we don't only offer these other things, but we can. We can if there's a special need for 3D printing design, if there's a special need for field trips, some consulting of some sort. We never know. Every day is a new adventure, and we love that. We can't always say yes, but we do the best that we can to try to help point to other people that might can, or we offer some advice or just some insight. We are really big on serving this community. Dan was born here. I'm a West Texas girl. I grew up mostly in Andrews, and I've lived in Midland for a really long time now, so I kind of consider myself a Midlander now. And we want to be a part of this community. We want to be an inspiration. We want to be an influencer in doing good things with technology. Technology is not evil, it's not bad, it's all in how you use it. And we feel, I was just having a conversation over the weekend, AI is not necessarily bad, it's how you use it. And so many other things along those lines as well. So we are involved in our community, and this is something we love. We have our tough days, but the love for what we do carries us through and keeps us going through all that. So thank you for your time.
Awesome, thank you. Hey, give her another round of applause here.
Yeah, see, I'll share the mic. Let's see, make sure it's turned on. There's a button on.
He's the tech.
We got this.
There you go. They're a team, that's for sure.
We are.
And just speaking with them here briefly, you said you're a team of oxymorons. Like,
Yeah, pretty much.
So you work well together in various ways, in interesting ways.
Yeah. Yeah, I always try to represent a little bit more of the professional side. Dan represents the getting in the trenches work side. And he's really the brains and I'm the muscle. So that's how this works. So
I like that because it's obvious. No, but I think you guys are building something really great here. And as I said before, it's with a purpose. And that's what really makes a great company. So, great presentation. Just what like led you two together? Like, I think if you could answer probably this, like getting into robotics. Right, what was that? Where did you find the passion just to focus on robotics?
Well, robotics was the one thing that saved me into going into the upper level of education. I wasn't really into school that much, but I got into physics class, I was kind of doing the same thing. School, you kind of get into the school of fish mentality. You're starting from the start part, you're a freshman, you go in. And your goal is to graduate. Yes, but do you have a purpose in that graduation? And so I started getting into my junior year and started getting into higher level classes. And so one of the things that my professor he was a professor at the time. He said, okay, you have a choice. You can either do robotics or you can do the physics circus. And I saw those guys that were doing the physics circus, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. So I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and get into the robotics. And I got into the robotics team. And my parents were like, who are you? And it was like, I go in there, within the first few weeks, I actually became team captain, was able to organize my team, and it really kind of, I found my niche. I found the why of why I was going to school.
Yes, beautiful. So you found your purpose. It was transformative. Being introduced to something novel that captured your attention. That's a beautiful thing, and that's so really the core of Venture Robotics is you're trying to ignite that same flame in the young people here locally. Right?
Right. It's the majority of the thing is to keep kids curious as they start getting confidence in what they can get their hands on. That's what led to my curiosity to knowing all the things that I know right now. Is that, well, okay, that team was doing this. How do I do that? Or you see that person over across working on this certain thing, and you're like, oh, that looks interesting. Why is that working the way that works and mine is not? So we have these things to go in, and as we ignite that curiosity, it's kind of, we got to work our way through and figure out and wrestle with the stuff that we were given, as opposed to just kind of waiting for someone to do it for us.
Right. So nothing but problems, but you saw nothing but solutions, right?
Correct.
What an entrepreneur is, right?
Yep.
Right.
You don't see problems, you see solutions. How can I fix this? How can I get around this? How can I make that happen and make it my own?
Exactly.
Yeah, how can you create value, put value into it? Right. So yeah, that's what a company needs to be doing. Looking for that opportunity to create that. So Ginger, how did what's your role with Dan in taming his madness over here?
Yeah, so I try to leave Dan's brain to working on all the technical and the robotics and the teaching. I mean, he really is teaching, and he's very good at it. And so any kind of scheduling, any kind of we have 4 to 5 part-time employees that work for us. So working with them, working to schedule events that we, like I said, this month is our busiest month. We have activities at Kids College. We have this other STEM camp going on with a local company. And we just, all of that going on. Plus we have some camps at our facility. It's fine. It's a fine, delicate balance to get all that scheduled. And that's my role. And any kind of questions or concerns that parents have, those are all things that I try to deal with, paying the bills, all the behind the scenes things, or what I try to do so that he is completely and focused on working with the students and teaching them what they need to get. And I can do some of the teaching, but he definitely is way above me on that scale.
So you take care of all the boring stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's good because it is a lot of people interaction, and it is problem solving, and it's just a different type of problem solving, and I enjoy that. Trying to figure out how this is going to work and how we're going to make it through that, and it's definitely it's a huge success to get to the end of June. Last year we had a huge dinner. We took our people out and really celebrated that success.
What she doesn't, and she fails to mention on that, is that we were also moving locations at the same time as we were running all of our camps.
That was last year.
And so we were pulling all that together at the same time. That's also why we were celebrating our dinners. We were able to get our store up at the same time. But also, Ginger is really good at plugging into the different civic organizations. She asks the good questions. She has a reporter's background in doing journalism. And so she kind of knows how to search for leads and find those things out. That's one of the things of why she's also in the places she's in. She can kind of she's good at researching the people aspect of things. I'm good at researching the technical aspects of things and kind of bringing those things to light.
Yeah, it's great teamwork. I can see the brains and muscle working together now. Right?
Yep.
So in the world of robotics, right, there's a lot that goes into what you do, right, and just the providing the solution to the problems, and figuring out how to get some metal to run, and the communication goes on internally with the circuits, and all your flags and your motors, so when you teach somebody and you see that light turn on, like yours did. You get excited. So what's that development, and do you have any success stories of kids who have gone through your camp, just transformed their life, and can you tell us anything on that line?
Well, so a lot of the students who do come to our facility go on to participate maybe in robotics teams at the junior high or high schools that do have robotics teams, and we've had some be turned into some successful coders, and those teams also come to Dan for advice as well, and we'll see them show up at the end of our innovator sessions, and we're like, oh, you must be here to see him. But yeah, I mean, really, honestly, even though we want them to make those connections within the robotics or the engineering or the science and math areas, we really want them to feel valued. That is the biggest, honestly, is the biggest satisfaction we get out of what we do. And we've had several parents who will just talk about how their child felt very accepted and appreciated at our facility, and I've had parents who have talked about their kids. They struggled during the day, but they come to our place and they just forgot about whatever happened, at school or whatever. And so that to us is honestly the real thing we're looking for, the real joy in what we do.
Absolutely, yeah, because you're developing the minds of those who would otherwise may have fallen through the cracks.
Exactly.
Right, because there's such an emphasis on sports. And
I love sports.
Yeah, the sports entertaining.
Yeah.
Throw big money in sports. But for the kids who maybe aren't able or don't even have the interest in competing in one of the sports,
Yeah.
this could be very well right up their alley.
Yeah, I think so. In kind of doing the competing thing, this area is one of the larger areas. I've been kind of a coordinator for the area. We have about 42 high school teams that compete in this area, and so that's about 12 students a team. But even at that, every high school only has 4 teams, so that's 48 students out of how many hundreds of students that we have that are available there. But I think it's also important that what we also try to do is not to build a student's identity in just doing robotics, but also that they build an identity in themselves. We just give them tools that they work with. Because a lot of times some people are just kind of like, that's all I do is robotics, that's all I do. That's not their identity. The identity is what they're able to create with the tools that we give them. And so that's, because sometimes we get lost in those things. It's kind of like, I'm just building a thing. I'm like, no, you're figuring out something so you can build something later with your own name on it.
Right. So they're building something that's to build something else that we're going to use as a tool to build something else. So it's all about building. And you brought, the sports analogy there, just totally slipped by me. But yeah, human nature is competitive, right? We want to be competitive. That's what it's about. So you put on these challenges, or so tell us a little bit about those. How does that work?
So there's actually like 3 different leagues that we have available that I'm working on bringing in another league as well as the so right now in Midland we have the first Lego League, which most of the grade school is going to be participating in. Pioneer was nice enough to give money out to everybody to kind of be able to have at least 1 kit per school so they can actually all participate in Lego League. FTC, they allow everybody else to kind of come in. That's been kind of the running of the deal. We have Harmony that's coming in, and so the Harmony School is going to be bringing in the Vex League, and right now they don't have a coordinator, so I'm going to kind of help facilitate that a little bit. We also have some drone competitions coming in that will be setting up things and kind of with the REC Foundation. And so there's a lot of opportunity for competitions for students to kind of get in. I know everybody's like, usually a lot of people are very familiar with BattleBots and everything like that. And everybody, I've been asked about, I'm going to have like a little tip jar for every time I hear, can we start BattleBots? I'm like, We're thinking about it, okay? But the thing is usually that costs about $5,000 to just start a basic battle bot per bot.
For it to get destroyed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I'd rather do is I'd rather start some competition so that kids can figure out, okay, these are the basics of what I need to do if I wanted to create my BattleBot or be on a BattleBot team, or just to know that the logistics of how do I make this motor controller run with this, and how do I shield this, and how do I work with this. And so I think that's more valuable than just I'll give some kids a chance to go out and tear some stuff up every once in a while, but it's just kind of one of those things I'm like, okay, do you know why you're doing what you're doing before you go do that?
Right. Yeah, and again, it just goes back to, technology being used for good or in a positive way. And not that the BattleBots is a negative thing, but it's just, it's fun, it's a lot of fun, but also, again, the why would you want to have that skill to be able to make that robot do that, so. Yeah.
Right, because there's so much more potential out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's a great bridge to it. So, you mentioned AI earlier, right? And AI is the big buzzword at the moment. But AI has been around for a while, right?
Yeah.
But it's only now just progressing to a point where everybody's paying attention.
Right.
Yeah. So, given what y'all do, moving forward here with the potential that now everybody can see that AI possesses, how does that factor in how you're moving forward?
Well, we are, it definitely has its segment, or I guess its silo in what we do. We honestly are focusing largely on the machinery. Like when we do coding, we don't code for video games. We don't do that. We code to machine. And so the AI component comes in when you're using the coding, and then you're starting to set more autonomy for the machine itself, which we're going to see that a lot more in the industries that go on. And again, we talk about AI and the use in industry. We try to kind of be mindful that it's not there to necessarily take over jobs, but there's going to be people who need to know how to work the AI and how to use that in what proper ways and how to connect it to these certain aspects. And so it's not anything we're scared of. We're not like in the thick of it with, we're AI this, AI that, but it has its place, but we really are still, our slogan is robots grow people, because we still want to definitely connect that human element to technology.
Yeah, there's always should be a human in that loop somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, and I think what we're trying to do is kind of go ahead with research on what would be the better platforms to learn that, so that we can have something for people to kind of experiment with. It's always good to have your nice laboratory so that you can be like, okay, just kind of close it off, firewall it from this point and not let it loose so it gets out and starts going crazy, but we can kind of, okay, let's reset, let's test what we're doing. A lot of what the industry is doing right now is they're doing learning machines. I worked with a lot of companies, Pioneer in particular, who was working on doing some things with artificial intelligence and kind of monitoring different things on pressures and everything like that, so they could be a little bit more efficient in their use. I believe that as we kind of start training out and how to use it, it's kind of a guidance system on how to do estimates a lot better than what we've been doing in the past, which is kind of having to manually look at everything. So it's one of those things of kind of, we're teaching it, but we also need to make sure that we're checking the values. And then also knowing how to load stuff onto a platform. It's one of those things where you can't just, artificial intelligence is still to the point where it needs people to serve it, as in the fact of either having a server built up for it or transporting it. It cannot create its own clouds yet. And so we need to have people who are able to kind of be able to maintain that and do the service on that.
He said yet.
Yeah.
So I could probably sit here and ask you guys a million questions all day long, but I'm going to pass along to the audience. Do you guys have any questions? Here we go. Mr. Ricky, what you got?
I'm from Andrews as well.
All right.
Thank you for bringing it to us. Have y'all tapped into Andrew's finest resource, Lewis Fleming, yet, Dale?
Yes, and he was my teacher growing up. Yeah, he actually helped us with homeschool sessions this year. It was great having a retired teacher there, and he was a great slot filler for us because it's difficult finding talent to be able to work with and have, use all the technical words and know what we're talking about when we're trying to get a lesson done and carried out. But we actually are hoping for more retired teachers to call us up or whatever. And because it's difficult, just as much as the schools have a problem keeping and retaining those good STEM teachers, we're looking for people who have that knowledge as well. So, but yeah.
Anybody else?
What's been your kind of biggest struggle or like upcoming obstacle that you guys are trying to navigate?
So we, I guess I would say probably scaling is the biggest challenge. Is how many hours of the day do we need to be open, and how many people do we need to hire to provide the workers for those students during those hours of the day. And because we do work with children, we try to live by that rule of 2 adults, like literal adults, like 18 and older at least. And so we try to utilize some college students as well as one of us being there, just especially as we're learning who makes the best employees for these kinds of positions. So that whole scaling idea and finding the right size facility for all the inventory that we work with, and having the space to maneuver and move around, and you've got kids coming in who are first and second and third graders who are just bouncing off the walls because they've had to sit maybe in their class all day, and just trying to mitigate all that with the space, the right workers, and knowing how many hours in the day we need to be open. Those are just constant, every day, every week challenges that we face. And of course, that scaling component also leads to, do you scale more to try to bring in more capital, or if you do that, you'd be spending more at the same time. Just because you're bringing in money, you're spending it just as fast, right? So that is always something as a business person you have to keep that in mind. Once you start payrolls and you start, all your space leasing and then insurance on top of that, and yeah, it's just as much as you're making money, you're spending it. Probably sometimes more spending than making.
That's for sure. Miss Audrey.
I know y'all was talking about the camps earlier. Are they only for students that's like grade students, or do y'all have anything like 18 and above? I know I just brought my grandson from Austin, and like Angel was saying earlier, he's no sport person. He's 6'2". And everybody's like, play basketball. And he wasn't into sports, but he's great in technology. If you have a question, you go to Zavorian, he has the answer. So I was seeing, do y'all have any camps for somebody older because he's 18, or do y'all have a mentor program?
Yeah, that's a great question. We have had several adults ask us, we need a coding class too, or we need, a machine learning class too. And Dan actually does teach drone certification classes as well. So that's a growing thing. He's already led 3 of those in the area just since March, February. And so we're, they're coming. We just got to figure out what's the greatest need and maybe the biggest interest.
Y'all have a mentor program?
We actually have a couple of interns. One sitting on behind you there. She's a marketing intern with us, but yeah, we have another intern that's a mechanical engineering student, and so this has just started this summer. So this may turn into something that we grow as these summers continue to roll around. Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't really have a question. I just want to say I love this whole concept. It is, we're all entrepreneurs here. You never know what next great invention one of those kids is going to come up with that y'all are providing for them. So that is awesome. Thank you.
Awesome.
This guy over here.
This guy.
I want to ask the question that everybody is thinking. This is a great program, and I'm really excited for you too. Congratulations. But What is your main source of income?
Our main source of income is the Afternoon Innovators Program and the homeschool. We do get a nice bump in the summer with our camps. This program that we're doing with one of the local oil companies is bringing in a nice little revenue that helps. In the summertime, we don't do innovators and we don't do homeschool sessions in the summertime. So these camps help us, work through that summertime. And I'll be honest with you, at our facility, we lease it, so it's a couple of thousand every month, a little more. And, we pay our workers. We are not getting paid yet. So it's an investment. It's an investment. And you live knowing that this is an investment that you're doing every day. So we do have day jobs. And hopefully, as we are scaling this and he finishes his master's, we take a little bit bigger jump into a more full-scale, complete, open, maybe 8 hours a day type scenario. With that line of thinking, we could even do more offerings, more adult classes, maybe even sell. We don't sell inventory. We sell education and experience, but we don't sell inventory. So we could get to that point down the road as well.
Thank you.
I got a question in reference to your camps and things of that nature. What are y'all doing in regards to or how is it structured? Like you have certain times throughout the camp, and then what are y'all doing to provide nutrition for those camps, or some sort of
nutrition, like a lunch?
Yeah.
So our camps are mostly, that we do at our facility, are mostly in the morning, about 8:30 to 12:30, and we do have a snack time. We do provide a snack. So we are a for-profit, and we kind of factor in that snack with the cost of our camp when we do it at our facility. Now, when we do it in conjunction with another group, like we're a partner, they generally will provide nutrition. One of the things that we're doing is with Opportunity Tribe, and so those kids that are doing that program this summer, they get their lunches and they get a meal during that time, and that's a nonprofit. And so that helps in those.
Obviously, with the oil and gas industry around here and the spaceport and more space companies coming in and AST building satellites and SpaceX and Johnson and all the wonderful opportunities in Texas, is there any kind of career progression program where you get them placed in colleges, you're connecting with these companies to get them hired on?
So yeah, we look for that in the future for sure. Every time these companies come in and they're getting ready to present to the MDC, they come talk to us. Or they call us because they want to know what support there is for this type of education. They want to know when it's involving robotics and engineering in that direction. They want to know what kind of people are we going to have around here that are homegrown possibly, that will be able to plug into some of these roles later in life. And it does make a difference the earlier you're exposed. Any of us that tried to learn a foreign language, as an adult, we're just like, ay. But as a young person, it's like, I got this, And so anytime we're exposed to something at a younger age, it's more cemented. It's that scaffolding. It's there. It's at the base, and you can just constantly throughout life build on that.
But we're also involved in kind of, as we're working with these students and everything like that, and being able to be part of that industry, it's nice to be able to kind of point out and talk with these companies and be like, hey, we got some people that are coming up, and giving them the opportunity. The problem is sometimes when we have stuff that's coming up, we don't really advertise well enough to kind of say, hey, this is kind of this is here, it's here, and it just need to look for it. So we kind of get to have those conversations with our students and saying there is a possibility of a higher technology effort in this area. But I mean, Midland has always been an area of higher technology. Just usually we've been using it in the ground, and I don't think that is even talked about enough for what's going on here. We're finally kind of getting into where our colleges are starting to go a little bit more towards automation and bringing those things in, and kind of understanding the importance of computer science and those areas that need to happen. But I think the thing is having those conversations and having the why in front of the kids of why you need to do this gives us that kind of motivation to kind of get students involved in these things.
And I think that's the perfect place to end it right there. Thank you guys very much for coming on. Everybody give them a round of applause.
Thank you very much.
Here's a little present. A little gift for you, a cup and a card. There you go. Y'all guys can fight over who gets what.
It's already won.
We'll have these around after.
So if anybody wants to kind of play with some concept models.
Yeah, that'd be fun. All right, so our next presenter, SouthSide Barbershop. And so fitting, because we're here in the South Side, right? Our next presenter is SouthSide Barbershop, owned and operated by Amanda Guevara Nevares and Jacob Nevares, located right here in South Midland. Amanda and Jacob have 15 years of experience under their belts as licensed barbers and put God and family above all else. SouthSide Barbershop is a new and modern establishment that provides hair services ranging from hot towel shaves to hair color for all ages. Their team is fully licensed through TLDR and is ready to serve the community. Their purpose and mission is to create a supportive and nurturing community for South Midland's youth through the guidance of God. Everybody welcome Amanda, SouthSide Barbershop. Where's the clicker? Ginger, do you have the clicker?
I think I set it down on the, yeah.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having us here. Welcome to our side of town. Southside really doesn't get a lot of recognition. Everyone has a bad, thought of it. So, sorry, I'm nervous. That's what we're here for. SouthSide Barbershop, we just opened in December. We built from the ground up. About us, we're a faith-based family. We're oriented. It's me and my husband that opened the business, but without my parents, we wouldn't be here. They helped us fund what we couldn't to build, and we have our kids there with us all day. We have no daycare, nothing. So the building was built to our needs for our family, but to also help the Southside community. Like I said, he said we have hot towel shaves and waxing, colors, anything and anything to think of, from cosmetology side to the barber side we have inside the shop. Our main thing is to have our community involved. So with all of our clientele and all that, you don't think about it when you go get your hair done, or for your wedding, or someone's baptism, your little boy, your little girl's first haircut, those are all life events that we take for granted. So what's for us doing here, we realize that, and we try to make it more of a milestone for y'all at our shop, more professional. Here, when you think of barbershop too, here, it's not the best, thing that comes to mind of the music they play, the way that people are there and stuff like that. So I have a certain standard at my shop for the fact also that we're on the South Side. So we need to start changing the concept of everybody of the South Side. So when they do come into my shop, they do have to sign a contract, and it states everything that I want for my image and for them as well. Like I tell them, the shop is a representation of you, and you represent the shop. So anything and everything that I don't like from the very beginning, my workers know real quick. I put it in check because I'm not doing that, just for the fact that you need to be more professional. And in the hair industry, it's free for all. You could do whatever, look however, whatever, which is fine, but you also need to have some professionalism brought into that. So we want to be known as a well-respected barbershop and in our industry, and to help our community do more. Because in our community, I don't know if y'all know, I follow the hair industry, they are trying to take away all licensing. So with that, we're fighting to keep the licensing alive. Because if not, you don't think about it. If you go get your hair highlighted, they can burn your scalp off. They can transfer lice. If a barber cuts you with a razor, and someone had like HIV or something, and then your husband comes in next and they get cut with the same razor, no, he has it. There's a lot more than just color and cuts and this and that. There's a lot of sanitary things and rules, licensing, legislation, that goes into doing hair. But without owners and people in the industry like us, and like Miss Angie's Barber School, I don't know if you've heard of her, she's very on all the laws and the rules. That's how our industry has now became what it is today, and it's just kind of a free-for-all. So we have to kind of bring it back to what it was back in the day. We started in a mobile barbershop. We were working at a barbershop, and it wasn't a good feel. It was toxic. It was, like I said, the music, the way the people were there, stuff like that. So I had her little, and I was like, I can't have her here. So we traveled to El Paso by the bus. So it took us 3 months. We were scared to start it. Everything's new. So it's like, is this going to work or not? It took us 3 months to finally get into the bus. And I've owned this land on the south side for about 12, 13 years. So once we did open, we did do mobile, go out in oil fields, the man camps, things like that. And it got to the point where we knew we were going to build. So we parked the bus on the lot in the front so we could start building clientele for that specific area. And that's how Midland got their first mobile barbershop. Now there's tons, they go everywhere. It's all oil field, and they go, it's crazy. It wasn't easy at first. We were trying to figure out the power part. We had a generator at first. It's hot here, It would always burn out, and there we are cutting hair, no power. Like, oh my God, here it goes. I have to even call somebody. My husband learned how to do all the wiring for the plugs and the generator, so when it did go out, we could just do it ourselves really fast. Also, at that time, we had to take the generator in and out of the bus, and that was heavy. That was hard. It tested all aspects of us, from financial to relationship-wise to trying to build clientele. It was hard. It was, so we learned, and with that, we appreciate what we have now. We still have it. It's parked in front of our shop. Is that picture right there? For the future, we don't know what's going to hold with it. The guys at the shop, they're on board to go do events or whatever with it, so we just haven't dwindled into that yet, but it's still there. We worked in there for 5 years straight, to save everything we could to build the building cash. It helped us during COVID. When COVID hit, they shut down everything, and I never thought ever in our life that the hair industry would be shut down. Within, I think it was 4-hour notice, they sent us an email saying we had to shut down. So yeah, it was like, what are we gonna do, And so I just pulled it into our driveway and cut all the neighbors' hair, so no one called, and then all my clients, and I was like, if I cut your hair before and I trust you, come on. If not, then I'm not cutting hair. So that kept us, alive during COVID. And at the same time, raising a family. We had her in there when she was little, selling snacks. So she could understand what it is to talk to people and to make her own little money and to stock her little snack stand and all that. And now with us with the baby, we have him there. So that's how we built it for our needs. Our project timeline was 6 months, but with all the roadblocks, it took 4 years. Number one, the city of Midland. With our project, we were grandfathered in just with the land that we have. And from the very beginning, they didn't want us to build. They wanted us to buy the whole block, demolish everything, rebuild a shopping center, and then put the barbershop in the shopping center. With that, number one, money. Number two, people have owned those buildings for years. They don't want to sell. I'm not an investor where I can come with crazy money to make them sell. And then, so we finally, my sister is an attorney, so we had to, after so many years, it was no. Someone high up in the city finally said they have owner's rights. Y'all have to allow them to build. So from there, then they made the job hard for our architect. No, you can't do this. No, you can't have an entrance. No, you can't have this draining. No this, no that. So we were just at a standstill. Finally, that's when my sister came into play. The architect told me, maybe you should write an email and tell the city you're going to sue because you have owner's rights. We did. that week our plans are approved. So that's what started the fight, to build. Again, with TxDOT, since Big Spring is a government-paid highway, so we had to get everything approved through the city and the state. So if the city said yes, state said no, state said no, city said yes. So it was always a back and forth, back and forth. Inspections, during the middle of our build, they changed the way you do inspections. Before you could call and say, hey, I need the framing inspected, they'd be there that day, the next day. Then it was everything through email. So with email, it takes a day for them to get it, a day for them to get back to you. And then if you have an issue, you can't call, you have to email, let them, again, it takes, a couple days. Well, and then with that being done, some of the inspectors knew, so they wouldn't do their job correctly. They knew, oh, well, they're not gonna even bother us for a couple days. So it would put us back weeks at a time to build, to get the green tag or whatever, it was wrong. The cost, like I said, we had saved to build cash. The way we were raised, especially being, Mexicans on the south side, everything you want to own. It's yours, you don't want to be in debt. So that's how we did it. But with COVID hitting before all this, everything skyrocketed. So it took a lot of our extra stuff that we needed to do. Like right now, we still need the signage. So I am trying to do a business loan for that as we speak, just so I can start building business credits. I know credit is also good, especially business. These are our services. These are all pictures of what we do. Haircuts, designs, perms, beards, waxing. I have my friend from Lubbock, she comes down and does all the color and stuff. I do some color. I don't really mess with it anymore. They do hot towel shades. We do scissor cuts, kids, women, children. It all ranges from old women, businessmen, little kids, moms. Because I want my shop to be a family environment for anyone to walk in and be comfortable. Our experience, I'm really big on the fully licensed. Like I said, they're trying to take away licenses. So now a lot of shop owners and just everybody in the industry, they're not pressured to be licensed. They still can't get in trouble through the state as of now, but if you walk into a lot of shops, I doubt maybe one of them is licensed in there. So I'm very pressed on being fully licensed, so that's an experience that I can brag on that my shop is. So that's an experience for the customers. Our employees, usually if you work at a shop, they give you a key. You can walk in today and say, I want to work. Give you a key. Okay, here you go, start. Here's your weekly, booth rent. We provide a lot more for them. As you can see, that's what our stations look like. So everyone gets a chair, a toolbox, a mirror, a ring light mounted on the wall. There's TVs. They have insurance on their belongings through State Farm. That's how I have it through. So if someone wants to come rob or a tornado, something floods and their stuff gets messed up, they're covered with us. I do have it 24/7 security, the ADT, and they get a code to come in and out the shop. So that also helps me know who's in and out at what time. Just in case something does happen, I'll be like, you were the last one here. We also provide them a full stocked break room, so they get a bunch of snacks, coffee, Cokes, waters, whatever they want we ask. So like Hot Pockets, they're all young. They're like chips, candy, things like that. That's what they want, that's what they get. Every month as well, we do a shop event just to try to get everybody, because we're with each other all day, every day, but being with each other at work is different than outside of work. So we've done the Rock House picnic. Last week we took them paintballing. They want to go paintballing. We're going to go do the go-kart, just whatever they want to do. They want to do a shop trip too, so everybody's more like a family. Everybody works better together. Everybody looks out for each other. Like I said, the hair industry is cutthroat. You go into a salon or a barbershop and people aren't going to help you. They don't want you to be better than them. They don't want you to take their money. You have to really hustle it. So here, when they came in, I said no egos and no, just help everybody. We're family. And I tell them too, when you come in, you're on a trial basis. So if I see you don't fit at my shop, I will tell you, your time is up. It's time for you to go. So they all understand that. This is our team. Me, my husband, all the other guys, they range from 22 to 24. They're young. that was not necessarily my vision at first. I was like, yeah, you want experienced people, but then I thought about it. I was like, experienced people, they come with their ways already. They're set in their ways. So younger people, we can kind of guide them. So even with that, not only in the hair industry do we help guide them, but also in life. So we help them with their credit, their taxes, things like that. Trying to help them be a productive citizen, for themselves, for their families, for the community. So that's them. They're all licensed. Our next project would be to add additional jobs by opening more shops, and with our vision, of course, in place. And then I would love to open a barber school, especially on the south side. There's nothing on the south side, like I said, trying to change the image of the south side. There's a lot of money, a lot of talent on the south side, but people on this side of town stay on this side of town. So that's how I'm able to thrive, which I'm thankful for, thank God. But we need to bring it up. And if people in our own community don't do it, it's never going to happen. So that's, the third would be to, my husband wants to start some type of business to help the younger generation, instead of them getting in trouble and stuff, as being a mentor, if it is for them to, pay for them to get their CDL or their barber's license, or, help them pay their bills that month so they can finish going to college, whatever the case is that they need. We've already done that with 2 of our guys in our shop. They had went to school, they couldn't pay for it. So we were, we'll help y'all. Y'all come in, y'all work. Don't worry about it, y'all get us back, trying to thrive everybody. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching this.
She did great. Everybody give it up for Amanda here.
SouthSide Barbershop. Have a seat. There's a ring. It's just you? Okay.
The baby fell asleep.
I love that. You brought your family.
Yes. Is this one?
You got it. You work every day with your family.
Yes.
You don't send them to daycare.
No.
You don't want that. That's expensive anyway.
I don't
That's
trust
what we
it.
do. Well, there's another reason right there. Yeah, no, I think just watching you, I've talked to you and heard your story before, but then watching you up here, telling your story, and how you help everybody who's in your family, in your circle, your employees, right? You keep your kids with you. You're faith-led, and you want to just pour into the community where you came from, pour back into. So that's your purpose, right? And cutting hair and the barbershop is just your vehicle to get there.
Yes.
And it's amazing. Like you said, your parents helped you out so much. The foundation, the property is outright yours. So that goes a long ways in being able to put something together, a brand new build, a brand new business. So I guess I'm gonna backtrack a little bit here. So you just got up and went to El Paso to buy a bus?
Literally, we're just like, I don't want to be here anymore. I was like, let me look. Got on Facebook Marketplace, and I was like, look at this bus. We're gonna buy it. I called my husband, I called my dad, they're like, if you want to, let's go. Went the next morning. And then we bought it, came back, and I was like, what do we do?
What do we do? And we got it. And you said that you let it sit for 3 months?
Yes, we were scared. All the what ifs, what if it doesn't work? What if everyone's like, oh, they're crazy or whatever? And I was like, finally, I was like, let's just do it, because if not, we're never going to do it. No one's ever going to see it done and want to do more with it.
And that's a very healthy feeling to have, because if somebody comes up to me and says, they're not scared, I'm like, okay, don't start this business then. You better be scared when you're starting a business. You need to know what you're getting into and know that there's risks involved, and to, analyze those risks and weigh out your risks, right? And so you just jumped and bought the bus, but then you weighed your risks for 3 months.
Yes.
And then, okay, let's go. So how did that get going? Once you started the bus and you said you just parked on that location, you didn't go around?
At first, the first week, we did park it. We were there for a little bit. We were trying to figure out, like I said, the generator thing, the, clientele. The clientele wasn't even hard. As soon as people saw that bus, they were like, whoa, we were like a sardine in that thing. People would park outside waiting because it's new, it's different. Like I said, people on the south side, everybody wants a haircut. They like to get haircuts once a week. So it was like, we're going right there, we're going right there. But I do appointments and walk-ins. My husband takes walk-ins only. That's the kind of business he likes to do. So they already knew it didn't matter who they were getting a haircut because he would grab them. But yeah, and then after that, businesses started reaching out to us. Hey, can y'all come to our band camp? Can y'all come to our, I think Conoco had asked us to as well to go to their building on Wednesdays and cut the men that were inside the building. So it was, they would pay us, but it was a service they offered to everyone that came in, everyone that worked in the office didn't have to leave. Just different things like that, and same thing with like the schools. You'll never hear SouthSide Barbershop do free back to school haircuts. I feel like a lot of people take advantage of that. So what we do is go to the schools, talk to the principals, and give vouchers so that you can give to the counselor so that, they know who needs. So if the kids come and they have the voucher, we already know it, that the haircut's on us and it is what it is. So we started doing things like that, starting with the bus.
Yeah. That's amazing. I didn't know that. That's a cool way to do it and reach the kids who need it, right? I just gotta say the name, Bus Cuts, for being the original mobile barbershop. That's like the perfect name. I guess it makes sense. I got it first. How did you end up getting the property? Well, let me go somewhere else with this. So when people want to start a business, it's not like going back to the fear thing. You should have some fear. You need to analyze. You need to know that it is feasible to get into your business, that you have customers, that you can actually sell what you're trying to sell. So in doing that, it's not easy to be an entrepreneur.
No.
It's not easy to own a business.
No.
And so that's why you had the fear. But then once you got in it and you faced roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, what kept driving you to figure that out?
Family, God. He wouldn't have put us here if we couldn't go through.
We just went biblical. No, that's powerful though, right? Because that does give you that purpose, a sense of there's a reason why you're even this far.
Yeah.
Right. So if, what's that other biblical saying? If it takes you, something like I chop up quotes. I am known for chopping up quotes. That's just what I do. But if he brings you through it or something like that, you can get through it. I don't know. But you were there at that point and you kept pushing, and then here you are now, sitting at Founders Blend, at Midland College, talking about your business, right? So one of the slides up there, you said, we're gonna get going in about 6 months, 4 years later.
Yeah.
Right? That's a lot of perseverance. That takes a lot of grit. And to keep your focus on moving forward to making sure this is gonna happen. Most people would have dropped out. But like I said, you have your family support. And they're watching, your kids are watching their parents make something impossible happen. And I think that's the beauty of it. And so I really want to, get into, when you're saying you want to help the troubled youth of the South Side, and have programs to empower. What does that look like?
That's him. I just hope going through those are his ideas. Do you want to speak on it? No. I guess it's like I said, just more. He's been troubled, so he knows what it is. I haven't So no shade, but you know, I grew up good. So seeing that in a different eye through him, it's one person that can say one thing or do one thing for you can literally switch the path you go through.
Mm-hmm.
So just through I guess I don't really know as much of his ideas, but just anything they really need. Like I said, we've helped already with some of our barbers with different things that they've gone through personally and to help them in their business as well, because they're their own business. So just teaching them they're their own business because they rent the chair. Yes, I own the shop, they rent the chair. So just different things like that. Like I said, I guess whatever that person's dream is, whatever we can do to help them get that. Like I said, that's really I'll just help him, whatever, but that's really his deal, what he wants to do.
I talked a little bit with Jacob, and I resonate with that because what he wants to do is he wants to get to the kids before the kids get to a point where of no return. You know, and if he's successful, him and his wife, family business successful, the kids from the South Side will see that and want to emulate that.
Yeah,
like,
it's a light for the South Side.
How am I exactly? You know, how do I become successful in a positive light? You know, like you guys are doing, and you're pouring nothing but positivity. You know, and even when you're speaking about your employees, you teach them about taxes and that they're not an employee, but that they're on their own business. It's taking ownership. You know, so, and that's something that I believe all businesses, whether they are an actual W-2 employee, is to, you know, take ownership of your job. Take ownership, you know, like it's your business, because it's going to be a lot more fulfilling for you, for one. You know, and you get to make independent decisions. You know, so there's a lot to that, and so that's pretty cool that you're implementing that in your shop, and you're helping these young adults kind of learn how to navigate life.
Yes.
In general, right? And I'm sure, you didn't mention this, but I'm sure in there that there's discussions, they're going through hard times, and you can tell, and you're probably like, hey, what's going on? And here it comes, you know, and then now all of a sudden you're a counselor.
Yeah.
You know, well, that's part of being an entrepreneur and a business owner. You're a counselor too, because you have to be all things. You have to wear all hats. So I think when we met, you said, I take pride in cleaning my restrooms.
Yes.
I resonate with that 100%. Yeah, I try to keep my restrooms clean. You know, I'm the janitor too,
Yeah.
right? And I think we need to be. So nothing but kudos for you and your husband. Thank you guys very much. Do we have any questions from yes, Ms. Jitsi?
I'm so proud of you, I have to say, the way that you build this business with your family. So this is my question. How do you balance your life being the owner, wife, and mother in the same place at the same time? I mean, sometimes I go to work because I don't see my husband there. So, we're women, you know, sometimes we escape from home going to work. How do you balance that? Being the wife, the jefa, mother, everything at the same time.
It's hard. I can say that. There's times when we get home, or even at the shop, if it's like I tell everybody, I gained sons having these barbers. So I just see everybody as one of my kids. So I'm like, hey, you, this, da 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 da. And thank God they're very respectful. So they're like, okay. And they're like, okay, she's here. Like, you know, not fear, but they have like that respect. So, and there's times where it's like, we're in this because of something, and you know, or just like you said, the kids, you know, are a lot sometimes, you know, you being there with your husband all day, we'll just walk away. And I tell everybody, if you see me kind of here quiet, it's just my time. We just need our space. So, and then the babies, she's grown up in that, and he is too, so they're good. You walk into the shop, we have Bumbos, Jumper, Playpen, all that there. And my sister walked in one day and was like, Amanda, your side kind of looks like a daycare. And I was like, well, this is his shop too, so it's what we gotta do right now. But yeah, and even if he wants to be held, you can walk in there and I'm holding him cutting hair. You know, I've done it with her, so it's just something I guess I'm used to. I know how to balance. There is times where I'm like yesterday, I was like, I'm taking her to the movies, you watch the baby. That was my getaway. Because, you know, she's a little older, so it's good. You know, she's real relaxed. And usually the guys don't go until a little later, and I go early. So it's just me. Sometimes I have the baby, sometimes I don't, and I just start the day. That's what kind of alone time.
Art.
I had a quick question, just having to do with marketing and keeping a competitive edge. You had brought up that after y'all's bus, which is awesome, other companies started popping up and oil fields pulling them and stuff. What have you done to keep your competitive edge in the market? And have you considered brand alliances with like oil field companies? Like, hey, if you only use our barbershop, your guys will get like 10% off or something like that.
We did talk. We just opened up the shop in December, and I just had the baby and stuff, so I'm barely getting in the groove of everything. We had talked about doing something like that. Also with more, not necessarily oil field. I did it with the bus. I do need to reach out for the shop now, but the businesses around as well, they already know. They send all of their employees to us. We have like a billboard on Day Spring Street as well. So everybody that's in that area, all those businesses, they see it. Then, usually I try to, me being the owner, usually the owner of another business will come in first, and when people walk in, you're like, hello, how are you? Little conversation. And if they are an owner or something like that, something big, I usually try to get them in my chair. So from there, I start that connect. So that's how I'm doing it right now from behind the chair. But yes, we have talked about getting in contact with our old contacts to start doing that as well.
I just tossed that out there because the oil and gas expo's happening down the street. All the sales guys got fresh cuts. And I'm like, man, there needs to be a barber booth in here right now, so all these oil and gas companies see them.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, we can do that. Thank you.
I got a quick, so when we met, you had said that the shop, and bringing your kids into it, that the future of the shop is up to them because this is their shop. So I just want to bring that up because that's an important part, because you are building legacy, right? That's what you're doing with your family. You're building legacy, and then you're helping your employees build legacies of their own because they're seeing you do it. Now they'll be able to go out and replicate that, hopefully. But you're planting the seeds of really good stuff here. And thank you so much for doing what you do and how you do that, for sure. Do we have any more questions for Amanda here?
I don't have a question. I just want to say kudos also to you, Amanda.
Thank you.
She's one of my nominees for my Glory Global Awards. It's really exciting to hear her husband's vision, Jacob, because his vision is like my vision that I want for us, for my social life journey. I want to hire second chance employees because of my family. I've gone through the same thing, and I love seeing and hearing the vision that you have the same vision and your husband has the same vision that I have for my business. And I just want to thank you for being the mentor for the next generation. They look at you and say, if she can do it, I can do it also. So continue to keep on doing what you're doing, and let God continue to bless you and take you to the destiny He has.
Thank you.
Beautiful. I think Founders Blend just did what it's supposed to do right there, networking and making things happen. So everybody give Amanda a round of applause. Yes, thank you so much, Amanda.